Hello everybody, I'm Richard Gon of Work to Live podcast version. So this time, what I'd like to talk about is that people say no war, yet войне,反对战争, which is why sometimes wars go on somewhere. So as I said, not as I said, so no war mean no war is translating no war into other languages. There are various expressions, of course, which is quite natural. So, for example, in the case of Japanese language, how to, how people say no war is senso hantai, which literally means we are against wars, or we are against a war, which is a literal meaning of senso hantai in Japanese language. And taking a look at an example of Russia. So Russian, so so before actually explaining the Russian version of no war. So let me introduce why I'm talking about this topic. So because maybe you are watching, not watching, you may not watch this episode, but you may be listening to this episode for example 10 years after this recording, or 10 years after the creation of this recording. And I'm recording this episode in 2022, or I'm recording this episode in the beginning, or in March, not in March, on March in 2022. So which is in which there is a ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine. So and the war has lasted until now. So there is no sign of ending. So I don't know when the war is going to end. I don't know when the war taking place between Russia and Ukraine is going to end. Which is, so I'm in such a situation, and of course I'm in Japan, or I'm in a developed country in East Asia. So no war. So translating no war into Russian language, or maybe not only in this case, that is not a literal translation. So Russian people say нет войне to the war taking place between Russia and Ukraine. But of course, it's Russia which started the war between Ukraine and Russia. Russia attacked Ukraine at first because Ukrainian government said that country wanted to join NATO, which is why that war was provoked. So, and against, so which is why the war was provoked, and against which even Russian people say нет войне, or no war to Russian government, because so Russian people do not want to fight against Ukrainian people, and Ukrainian people are eager to fight against Russian government. And the purpose of the fight, and the purpose of the eagerness, or not the purpose, why Ukrainian people are eager to fight against Russian troopers is because they want to protect, Ukrainian people want to protect their own country, which is why many Ukrainian people are willing to fight against Russian troopers, or Russian soldiers. So, but so which is why the situation is complicated, because the Russian government found Ukrainian troopers, or Ukrainian soldiers really strong, or stronger than the Russian government had expected, which is why it's people say, even Japanese people say such a thing, because so maybe 8 years before, Crimea was, or Peninsula Crimea was conquered by Russian soldiers, and after which Ukrainian troopers, or Ukrainian soldiers grew stronger, which is what I heard on maybe that, which is what I heard on the internet maybe. as long as I could remember. But actually, so and this time Ukrainian military services, Ukrainian military services is stronger than Russian government had expected before. So it is why which is why the situation is really a mess or complicated. So that is about the Russian version or the Russian translation of no war. So literally thinking. In this part, let me tell you the literal translation of Russian Нет войне into English language. So if you so it's not if so if you translate no war into Russian language literally, that means not that means, but that is going to become нет войны is literally correct expression or literally correct translation of no war, which means so literally thinking no war, literally thinking about no war or the meaning of no war. So no war means there is no war all over the world. For example, there is no war here, which is a literal meaning of no war. Which is why, literally thinking no war is wrong. Because, if there's no war, there's no problem. We live in a peaceful world. That's it. So everything is peaceful. So there's no conflict among any countries. Which is why that is peace. There's no meaning or there's no necessity in doing there's no necessity in doing some demonstration, for example, on the street or on the square, stuff like that. Such demonstrations aren't necessary. So if there's no war, so but actually, so what I want you to know in this part is that in this episode is that so Нет войне means not to war. So literally translating Нет войне into English language, no war, not no war. So Нет войне is not to war. Say that, which means let's say no to war, or let's say no to war, or to let's say no to war to Russian government, for example. Such a meaning is incorporated into Нет войне, and which is why so thinking about the meaning or literal meaning of Нет войне and no war, there are difference. There's a difference. And taking a look at another example, which is Chinese. So in Chinese, no, in Chinese, or the Chinese version of no war is, or the Chinese version corresponding to no war is, 反对战争. I'm going to tell you the meaning of no war is 反对战争 is no war in Chinese, and so the literal meaning of 反对战争 is the same as that of Japanese. So literal meaning is so we are against, or I'm against wars, or I'm against a war, stuff like that. So Chinese version of no war has such a meaning, which is why so there of course there's a little huge difference between Chinese version of no war and Russian and English version of no war. Language. So people, of course so I used 3 examples, and including Japanese version, there are 4 examples. So even Japanese and Chinese even Japanese language and Chinese language has a difference not between, because so in Japanese language, in the case of Japanese language, Chinese characters are inverted. So literally translating Chinese version of no war. So that means so Chinese version of the Chinese version of no war is 反对战争. So which literally means against war, against war. Well, I not disagree war maybe. So if if such a translation is possible, so such an expression is available. But literally translating Japanese version of no war, that is wars against, because grammatical orders are different between Chinese language and Japanese language, and there's a difference between China and Japan. So and maybe the Korean version of non-war is on our side, which means because grammatical orders are the same between Korean language and Japanese language. Anyway, so what I want you to know in this episode is that, of course, although in terms of no war, people are watching the same direction, or people watch the same stuff, and people are heading for the same direction, or people are heading for the same point. But actually, what they say are slightly different. What they say are largely different, which is why such a differences are causes of conflicts. For example, such a differences are causes such differences are causes of conflicts, which may happen among individuals, or which may happen among some regions, or which regions in which may have such a differences. Sometimes such differences become causes of conflicts among regions, or among ethnic groups in your nation, or in your country, and such differences cause huge problems, or huge conflicts, or huge wars among huge nations, which is why the conclusion is that, so I brought this conclusion to the end of this episode. The conclusion is that people are different each other, which is why wars do not go away from our world. So we, of course, even speaking out, or even claiming no war has many differences, depending on culture, or depending on language, or depending on cultures, depending on languages, and depending on countries. Which is why such a differences are too large for us to tackle. Of course, it's all right, or it's possible to seek for settlements, but actually we can't get away, or we can't evade, or we can't avoid the fact that we are different each other, which is why people are different each other, which is why wars do not go away from our world, which is why so what I want you to know in this time is that people are different, which is a fact, and people can't get away from the fact that people are different, and that we can't get away from the fact, or we can't avoid the fact that each country is different each other, or each ethnic group is different each other. So because such fact exists, so which is why wars happen sometimes in somewhere, which is what we should know in this time, or in this episode. So of course so there must be some wars. There must be some wars in somewhere, in some places, or in sometimes. But actually so it's possible to it's even possible to avoid wars. And of course it's necessary to seek for, or look for settlements among different groups, which is why so I of course this is also what I'd like you to know this time. But so which is why we should not stop seeking for settlements, even among individuals, even among different ethnic groups, and even among countries, So let's look. So of course, we say no war. We say no war differently, but let's look for. Please do not stop. Please do not stop seeking for or looking for settlements among different people, which is what I like you to understand. So that's it. Thank you very much for your listening. See you.